Hey, Erin. I'm all right. Doing a lot better than you are, it looks like.
I mean, I don't know what to say except that, if you kind of like were an acquaintance or very friendly with someone and grew up in Illinois with his organization being just one of those central organizations in your little political life of three or four Illinois really good organizations. Of course, he moved to Arizona. Okay, fine. And you have a college age kid and you're watching the psychopath claim they're somebody's best friend, the only best friend that he has, and at the same time, completely ruining his brand. And there's people who actually like don't see that, like they don't make. I don't understand how that works. My brain breaks.
Right.
How could you watch someone ruining someone's brand and be like, "That's how I know that they were best friends"? I
Oh
just
yeah.
don't.
Well,
Like, what?
okay. So, here's a kicker. Here's something to think about. Why is Charlie Kirk coming to her in a dream in the first place when he's married to someone else?
There are people who say, well, so my understanding is she got married first, that they
Right.
went to England and she met this aristocrat whose father is like a big wig in the British government, which is kind of interesting, before Charlie got married. And so, what does she want? Her cake and to eat it too? You know what I mean? Like, she seems to be fixated on Erica in a not so happy way.
Yeah. Well, I still go back and I think I pointed it out before. If you look at her just her whole demeanor and his, because used to she be really put together. I mean, and I'm talking about Candace Owens. She looked very professional, but now her hair is kind of all straggly and unkept, and I'm like, I wonder what's going on there. That's my opinion. That's what I see. I just think it's kind of weird. Of course, I don't follow her. I don't really pay attention to her. I think I stopped. I went. What was it? There was this whole big thing she did. Oh, what was it? She was trying to call out somebody a few years ago about some guy she was supposed to meet in a restaurant, and he was supposed to be deep state or something. I can't remember all the details, but yeah, I kind of stopped watching her when she started doing that. It So I don't know. Um,
Right. I mean, as best as I know, and I don't remember the details, but as I recall, she started a YouTube channel back in the day, like around 2015, 2016, and it was like something like Black Pill Red or something. And her turning point, ironically, story was that she was a liberal who was trying to start a website for like educating kids or something like that. And she was working with a group of people, and then she started getting harassed, she says. And like, I just don't remember all the pieces of the puzzle, but she thought right wing people and white people were harassing her because that's what she was told by her friends. And then somewhere down the line, she realized her friends were like blocking the caller ID or something, and they were actually the ones harassing her and telling her it was right wing white people when actually it was them. And that was her big awakening that people aren't who they say they are, and that MAGA people are actually not bad people trying to pick on Candace Owens and her little education website. And that was the origin story. And the way she told the story, I always felt like, well, if they blocked their caller ID, then how did you know it was your friends pretending to be white MAGA people? Do you see what I mean? That the story didn't make sense to me.
mhm.
And ever since then, she's said things that just kind of don't make sense to me. But I always just kind of chalked it up to that her mindset is all about her feelings. And it is all about her. This is all about Candace. It's not about all the college kids who are in TPUSA chapters, learning things, going to, meetings and meeting new friends and everything. It's not about them. It's not about Charlie. It's not about the board members. It's not about the managers and people who work at Turning Point USA. It's not about all the people who are counting on them to, like, for example, ballot chase in Arizona on that. It's only about Candace. And she's always just come off that way to me. So I was just never really a fan, but I never had anything bad to say about her. I just felt like something's like I don't really connect with her as a person. Like the things she says, I kind of roll my eyes. She's not my kind of person. It's all about feelings and like this weird valley girl talk. I can't even. And then when she's like stretching the truth, I'm not going to say she's lying, but when she's saying something that's a hook. It's like out there, sort of really on the end of the branch. Her vocal cords tighten up, and she starts talking like this, and you're like, okay, she's going out. She's stretching it out because she gets like tightened up. It's like her tell. And I don't even want. I haven't never really watched her that much. I watched some of that Macron stuff, the Bridget Macron, which are, none of that's her work. She was just reporting on someone else's work. And that is interesting information. I don't know what to think of it. But this Charlie Kirk stuff, I gave her a chance. Give me some evidence. Give me some evidence. No more dreams. No more this and that. I mean, I had a dream about Charlie. Everybody here knows that. That morning, I was walking the dogs with my mom, and I told my mom I had the weirdest dream that I was somewhere and someone threw a bag at my feet, like a cloth bag, and snakes came out of it. And my two cats I had for like 16 years or whatever, but are no longer with me, came out of nowhere and was fighting those snakes back so they wouldn't get me. They were clearly like venomous snakes. And I just felt weird about it. And then I got home, and not 2 hours, 3 hours later, Charlie was dead.
Mm,
But I don't then say the people at Turning Point USA are snakes and then put the little snake emoji after it, like three or four little snake emojis. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't base my whole theory on my dream. Just saying. Like at some point, you have to have some actual facts in the material world for it to fly. And oh, by the way, not get sued. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, I remember, let's see, there was another young man who was on the same par as Candace Owens. I started seeing them pop up about the same time on YouTube, and he did basically the same thing as she was doing, but she got elevated because all of a sudden she was working with Turning Point, and I don't even remember his name now anymore, but he was trying to, I don't even, but anyway, he was basically talking about MAGA, how President Trump was not, what everybody says he is, that he's, and he was really kind of campaigning for President Trump, but he just kind of went by the wayside, but she was elevated so much. And, and sometimes that's what happens with some of these people. Whatever, we see it in politics all the time. Look at Jasmine Crockett and what's her face and all these people that somehow, or AOC, they just kind of pick them up out of, it's almost like they just pick them out of a lineup somewhere and, oh, we're going to make you a star. And so they elevate them, and then all of a sudden you think they're a good person, then all of a sudden their true colors come out because they're basically being told what to do and what to say. So I don't know. You got to remember her husband is also the uh, I don't know if he's the founder, but he's executive officer of some sort of parlor. I mean, nobody does anybody even talk about Parlor anymore. I remember when Parlor first came out, and it was going to be the new go-to platform to go, social platform to go to, and supposed to do the same thing. So, and how many? I think she's had what, 3 or 4 children in what, 4 or 5 years. So it's basically she's just pregnant. Seems like she's been pregnant for the last several years. I don't know. At least that's what I've heard. I just don't know.
Right, Joker B. Wild saying Candace had some of the highest viewed videos on YouTube at 4 million views. That's true, and I can't explain to you how depressing that is to me because it's making people feel like they're part of a dig, but the dig has the to me it's like what was the name of that lady in the 80s? Oh, we used to call the 800 number and she'd say your
Oh, the psychic
astronomy.
hotline. What's her name? Oh yeah.
It's like it's like astrology show.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, well, I feel this, and she'll go like, and I saw them, and I looked at them, and they're not right. I'm feeling like they're not right. That's not digging, man. I
Yes.
look not right most days.
Yeah. Sons of Liberty says it's Lady
Yeah,
Cleo.
Lady Cleo, that's it. It's
Yes.
like watching Lady Cleo. It's just not a dig to me. And then she's really smart. Like she has been coached.
Oh
And
yeah.
she's like gets audience participation. Like I really need your help. I need you guys to dig on whatever. It's another way of saying I'm not doing any research. I'm going through all my email.
Well,
And then if
there's
something looks like I can integrate it into my effort to tear down Turning Point USA, I will by saying, "Oh, I read that and that word doesn't look right. That word's not right." So now she says wearing maroon shirts isn't right. So
yeah.
that's next week. It's going to be about maroon shirts.
It definitely seems like, well, it's like I said before. I think one of what, about a couple of months ago when she first came out and was just going on a tear saying, "Ah, Charlie came to me," and if you really pay attention, I saw that video, the clip of the video I saw. Again, her hair was unkept, and she was talking to somebody off camera. In the clip I saw, I'm like, she's being coached. I'm telling you right now, she's being coached. Someone is controlling what she's saying because she was talking to somebody off camera. I could see that. I could even hear. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could hear, and she even would look at them, and you could tell that she was being coached, basically what to say. But you had to, you just, I noticed it right away.
Right.
So,
And I'm just going to say it. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it's very politically incorrect. Okay. So, and I'm going to say this is not the case anymore. But when the Republican Party was what most people would call conservative ink, and what it was just about like small government, rein in the spending, big businesses good, like the traditional Republican, the Bushes, the Romneys kind of people. They, you could, I hate to say this, but it's just true. Like when they got what's that guy's name? Is Steele, Michael Steele, to be the member. He was the chairman of the GOP. And they were so thrilled to be able to go to cocktail parties and say, "Oh, well, the chairman of the GOP is a black man." Because then you're in part of the in crowd and you're not a racist anymore. Um, and that really weighed on people. Like I was around GOP types all the time, even in the Tea Party. If a black person showed up for whatever reason, Some Tea Party leaders literally would be like, let me get your chair. Do you need anything? Let me sit you down. Oh, let me rub your feet. Oh, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here, because every media report was reporters snickering and saying, well, that crowd looks kind of white, doesn't it? I don't see anyone of color in that Tea Party crowd. It's all white people. That was like the thing. So if a black person showed up, they got like really love bombed, actually, so that they would stay and never leave. I hate to say it, but it's true. And I've noticed like the Ali Akbar, Candace Owens, Michael Steele, there's any number of people who were really welcome with open arms, because back in those days, I'll just say before the populist aspect of the party, before Trump, before it became more a working man's open party, whatever, any quote unquote person of color that showed up was a bit of an anomaly. And they got a lot of special attention, and they really were catered to. They got invited to speak any possible place you could have. That way, the media couldn't say it was all white people. So I hate to say that, but I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's actually true. So, a lot of these people are now like the most rabid, like Trump haters. I mean, Michael Steele, is it Michael Steele? That guy's on MSNBC. He's like a paid regular there, and he just hates on Trump and the Republicans. Like, he was a total fake conservative from the get go. So was Colin Powell, you know. He just said he was conservative because at the time most people in the conservative movement are in the military, and he knew he'd get all the way up to whatever he was, a general. Uh,
Colin Powell.
because he was a conservative black guy, and it, it was a thing. I'm telling you, it was a thing. If you belong to any GOP organization, I'm not lying. If anyone that even looks a little black showed up, or a Hispanic or anything like that, they got the red carpet rolled out. They were like the speaker next week, even though they've never spoken about anything before. And so you got to wonder. I mean, one of the last things Charlie said about Candace is basically he doesn't really agree with her on a lot of stuff, and that he doesn't like a lot of the things she talks about. And that clip's out there. It's, I think, the last time he talked about her. But that she had been a good friend to him, and that he doesn't throw people under the bus just because they changed and just don't agree with you. And I agree with that. But man, it's I just think about, she's like, "Oh, I know Charlie's up there watching me." And I'm just thinking to myself, Charlie's up there watching you destroy everything he created, and probably causing an amazing amount of stress to Charlie's wife and other people he cares about. Regardless of the strife among the donors, everybody has strife among their donors. And the whole Israel thing has been a strife thing among donors for decades. That's not something new. I've heard about this. It's been written about, not just at Turning Point, everywhere. And I talked about that months ago. It's just a thing. It's in the conservative movement that there's just different legs on the stool, and they don't all agree and don't get along that well, actually. But they know that they have to bind together to win elections, or this country is going to become a Marxist hellhole. And we're like literally right on the edge of that. We can't even get we can't even get juries to convict people who are clearly guilty. We are at a Marxist hellhole,
Yeah.
and nobody cares. They want to think and feel about things. And when you say there's 3 million people watching videos where she could be actually educating them about where we are as a country, and instead she's vitriol. I hate America. Look at all the stuff. Imperial America murdering people and this, and you're not helping. You are not helping. You're not honoring Charlie and what he believed. You're making people feel hopeless. And then the comments are like, like weird stuff. And then you hear people saying, well, we should just tear all of this down or whatever. Okay, anarchists. I mean, the only thing about these anarchists is that they're so like, I don't know, like they don't know how to dig. They're so like easily fooled that I don't really feel threatened by them like I do anarchists who know what the heck they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, who are these people watching this? I mean, I'm hate watching, so I'm going to say a certain percentage are hate watching because they feel so threatened by this sort of insanity.
Yeah. I don't I don't watch any of that. I try to stay away from that as much as possible. There's enough absurdity out there already that
Well, I'm like hate watching it, and then I'm on my Twitter account tracking down people who are saying things that are patently false and correcting the record. And I'm doing what I think Charlie would want a friend to do. Do this thing like called truth and another thing called save the country. That's kind of like what I thought. Like he wanted freedom and like truth and saving the country. Like that was his life's work when I knew him when he was, a kid and started SOS Liberty, I think was the name of his original thing. Like that's the Charlie I knew. It's like, and I feel like that's what he would want his people to do, like tell the truth and try to save the country and try to support the kids in his college organizations. I'm just saying, man, dude, I don't get it.
yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that. It just to me it's all a big distraction because whatever it is that what their main goal is, whether it's to destroy MAGA, because remember, what we talk about how MAGA, one of the weakest part is MAGA just can't seem to be united like the Democrats are. They they stick together no matter what, and you get MAGA. I mean, it's okay to think for yourself, but think about what is best. Is it, is it, is it, I don't know. It just seems like to me there's so much other things going on that people don't, they're getting distracted by, by things that, I don't know. My whole thing is the distraction. What's the distraction? What's the motive behind the distraction? And,
It
I,
seems to be that this started in the weeks where that research came out that if you could peel off the young people from Trump, he will lose the midterms. And then just happens to be Charlie Kirk's shot. And then just happens to be this little group of little merry men or whatever. And Candace Owens start talking about how young people, I don't know about you, but I just don't vote. Look at all the horrible things America's done. This organization you guys belong to is a corrupt organization, and I think you should get a refund back. All of this happening when critical things are happening in Indiana and stuff that if we don't win this fight, we got I know that Black Swan events always change history, but I'll just say the proverbial we got 100 years of work to dig out of being a Marxist hellhole.
yeah.
So that's what I see. And I know I look at everything through a political lens, but um the stakes are so high. You don't have to be MAGA to realize that whatever communist, Marxist, anarchisty type people want to steal you all your money blind and release murderers in your neighborhood, like whatever it is that's the opposite of that, You should be lined up at 5 in the morning to vote for that, whatever it is, MAGA or whatever it is,
Right.
whether you're MAGA or not. That's just my mindset and always has been. And that's why at times I voted for Democrats because the Republican that was in that slot is worse than the Democrat. I'll vote for the Democrat. And that was in Illinois, where sometimes that's just how it worked out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I vote for whoever's not going to make the country a hellhole. That's who I vote for, which is usually 99% of the time a Republican, but not always.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done the same. I've done the same just because I didn't know who the. Uh, Sometimes it's just because I didn't really know the candidate well enough, and I just wanted to be different because I didn't understand the politics like you do at the time, you know. And yeah, we got to do
Right. I
something.
mean, these people, I just don't believe that this garbage is organic. I just don't. I mean, you don't want to fall into the hole where everything's like a JFK type conspiracy and there's some room with guys with red robes on cooking this stuff up or whatever. But on the other hand, we know for a fact that, like, we saw Netanyahu flood the zone with this Israel psyop, and that almost broke my brain for like 6 weeks. And then they called those dogs off for whatever reason. And then this thing starts. This don't vote. Everything's bad. Scott Pressler's bad. TPUSA's bad. Everything's bad. I don't know, like, who's doing that? I don't, it's very weird to try to even like figure out, like, who's doing this? Is it Europe? Because they don't want Trump. Who wants Trump to go to jail and they never have to see him again is
Oh,
behind this. I'm not saying that I think Candace is part of it,
yeah.
but there's just little trolls running around that jump on anything that is heading in that path.
I know. Did you see? Okay, so help. I mean, I didn't see it. I just saw the backlash. What was the deal about the meme or the picture of him going to sleep at the at some sort of committee meeting? Was he sleeping or was he just resting his eyes and taking in what he was listening to? Because some people do that, you know. And I mean, everybody's mind just, now it's Trump falls asleep, and it's like, how many times did we see Joe Biden just not even show up? What are you talking about? So, did you see all of that? Did you catch
I
all the?
did.
I'm like,
He had like a cabinet meeting where everyone's sitting around the table, all his cabinet members and the vice president, and each one got to speak. And I don't know how many there are, 30, 40. I mean, it's a lot of people. And they went around the table and he did sit back with his eyes closed. I don't know if he dozed off a little, but they're in this little that little room, which he's right. The White House has, you can't even have a cabinet meeting there because the rooms are so small. And with all those media people crowded in behind them, like with the boom mics and everything, it was probably hot in there. And yeah, he did close his eyes. I don't know if he had a headache or was hot or he kind of was dozing a little bit for a few minutes. But so what, man? It was
I
like,
know.
how long was that, guys? I had the whole thing on when I was working. I want to say it was like 2.5 hours, 2 hours. By the time each person spoke for 10 minutes and they went around the room, they didn't skip anybody. So yeah, he was sitting back with his eyes closed. I don't know if he's sleeping, but it had to, I mean, I would be going crazy because I get kind of claustrophobic. Imagine sitting in the side of the table where a reporter is leaning over you with a boom mic, and their like whole body is hulking over you like inches from the back of your chair. That's how small that room is. I would be like sweating it out, man. That would make me crazy. I
Well,
don't like anyone standing behind me like that.
I personally, I could see him. I know he's been traveling a lot. He goes and goes and goes, and we've been told many times he only gets about 4 hours of sleep a night. So my whole thing is, I could. I mean, my dad used to do the same thing all the time. It would be like, "Daddy, wake up!" Oh, I'm just resting my eyes. But I could, I can picture President Trump. He has that kind of personality where he may be closing his eyes, but he's absorbing everything that is around him. He's focusing on what the person is talking about. Doesn't mean he fell asleep. It just means he could have been closing his eyes to absorb what was going on. It just the ridiculousness of, oh, everything President Trump does is like that saying, he could he could save a child from drowning, but then people would get mad because he he took away something. Like, I don't know. It just the it's absurd what some of the people just want to
Right.
nitpick
And
over.
so what this is about is that as like a plan F down the line, they keep like the week before last week, he was walking with I think his grandson along that walkway where he put along the back of the rose garden where he put all the pictures, all the presidents and the auto pen.
Right.
And that walkway, I guess it'd be like a, what do you call that, colonnade? Anyway, that walkway goes down, and then there used to probably be a step to step up into the White House, those like French doors. But now, they probably had to make it handicap accessible, so it's like a little ramp that goes up. So he's leaning down, talking to the little kid, and pointed at the auto pen, and they were laughing about it, I guess. And then he went walking up that little ramp, so his foot was turned in a little bit, and they had the doctors out and everything saying it's signs, the pigeon toe is signs of Alzheimer's. And then they said he fell asleep in the cabinet meeting. That was like a few days later. And they're talking about the 25th Amendment again on MSNBC. And then at some point, I can't remember if it was Trump or somebody else that was in the cabinet meeting said, hey, he has cabinet meetings. We see him. We would know if we need to do a 25th Amendment. Joe Biden never had a cabinet meeting because if he had one, everyone would know he was incapacitated. And that's why he didn't have them. He was afraid of a 25th Amendment vote from the cabinet members, which is how it works. So that's why they did that. It's this ongoing thing that they're as like a Plan F 25th Amendment him.
Yeah, and there. I mean, oh, Alan Green's already talked about filing impeachment again. I mean, I've seen that in the last month or so, so I don't know if that's kind of quieted down or not. So I wouldn't be
Well,
surprised.
they're probably feeling pretty good about that because they've peeled the youth vote off Trump
Mm,
successfully. Somebody has. And Trump's numbers look horrible overall.
but can you?
So they probably will be impeaching him unless we get this redistricting done to where we get more bright red districts that are going to go Republican regardless of what Trump does than the Democrats get with what they're doing to California and Virginia. And
Yeah,
there's people, trust me, sitting there doing the math like every 5 minutes. We need one more seat. We need two more seats. We need one
yeah.
more seat. We need two, whatever the number is, they have to get it because Trump's not going to make it in the midterms. And this is just making a lot more work. I mean, historically, people have a honeymoon for the first year. By the midterms, they're pissed off at whoever the new president is because they didn't get what they wanted. And they either don't vote or they vote against them in the midterms. It's a historical thing that happens, but we just can't have that happen this time.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
won't just impeach him, they'll put him in jail.
yeah. But
They've
they did.
already got him as a war criminal with this bombing of the boats. All this stuff they're building the foundation for what they're going to do when we lose the midterms. So we just can't let it happen.
Yeah.
And I saw someone said that Steve Bannon agrees with Candace Owens. Incorrect. Steve Bannon agrees with Abel Child. He believes that the state of Utah is corrupt and that the kid is family is tied to mental health issues and big pharma contracts with the state of Utah, which is true. It's either the kid or the furry's mother, I think it is tied to Cox, the governor of Utah, through Intermountain Health, I believe is the name of it, which is a mental health provider. And oh, they have a furry kid. And now we're just talking about that this mental health professional broke into the crime scene and was taking pictures. So that's a whole nother theory. Don't think that because I wish Candace would knock it off. It's not even I wish she would knock it off. I believe the board has a responsibility to put out a cease and desist.
Yeah.
She can talk about the case. She can talk about maroon shirts. She can talk about Egyptian planes and French, French legionnaires or whatever she was calling them and all that. That's fine. But to sit there and say the board members killed Charlie, that's a step too far.
Well,
And that
that's
they're corrupt and stealing money and all this other stuff she's claiming. That's a step too far, and the board should make her cease and desist or turn over her evidence, one or
yeah.
the other.
Well, that's isn't
If you
that's
believe crimes are being committed, then you should be turning that over to whatever jurisdiction, the IRS or whatever, and see you in court.
well, in
So
that's
that's
slant.
my point. I don't believe this Tyler Robinson story with the evidence we have so far. I think there's big holes. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
That's a totally separate issue than someone trying to get Turning Point USA shut down. They're totally separate issues.
Yeah. Well, but that's slander too if she's lying. I mean, if that's the thing, if she's lying, because libel is printed, slander is verbal, right? I get them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, I don't remember, but what I do know is that she gets away with it because she makes insinuations that, instead of saying what she thinks, like instead of stating something that would be easy to hold up in court, she'll just be like, oh, what's his name? Tyler Boyer or whatever, or Andrew Covett. I don't like the way he's looking. I don't like the, what I mean? Like, you
Mm,
make it where you're demonizing someone, but not saying words that any jury could not give you leeway on.
that's like,
It's insinuation by rolling your eyes and I don't know her mannerisms. She puts her hands up and like she's very well coached. It's like a
uh,
MK Ultra session. Like while you're watching her, you're like, yeah, I don't like the way he looks either. But then you stop watching it and you're like, wait a minute, she didn't come up with anything new here. There's nothing.
yeah, yeah. That's the
It's
reason why.
like very creepy, like very practiced emotional manipulation and like a lot of like maybe she's had psychological training. I forget like Radix used to talk about all those different techniques.
Well,
But no, I'm not buying. I think Utah has botched this whole thing. And my prediction is that they will plea deal with this kid down from the death sentence to life in prison, and there will be no court case. I say that because the local media is trying to FOIA evidence, like even just the video of him entering the sheriff's office to turn himself in, allegedly with his parents. And they're like, oh, we accidentally erased that. How
Yeah.
could you have erased that? What else have you erased?
Yeah.
So I feel like Utah's botched it and they're going to have to plea deal.
Right.
Maybe on purpose, who knows? But there's just, there's, I don't have a good feeling about how that looks, but it's like an actual fact.
Yeah.
Unless the local media is just lying about it. If you file a FOIA request, which as far as I know, Candace Owens has not filed any FOIA requests. I think she did say they FOIA'd for the camera footage at the university, possibly. But unless the media is lying, the local media, when you file a FOIA, something I know very well, and they deny your request, by law, they have to give you
A
a
reason.
code of why your request is denied.
Mm-hmm.
And if they say no such record exists, that's different than saying, I can't show you this record because it's part of litigation, or I can't show you this record because it's classified, or whatever it is. It's not within the purview of our FOIA law here in Utah. So they are saying they requested the camera, like entering the building or being in the building, checking in. They're saying it doesn't exist. That's what the local media said. And I think I saw two articles. So I can assume that's real. And I'm thinking, that's sloppy. Is this even going to go to trial? Because if you're that sloppy, like you're hanging this whole case on the fact that you confessed to the parents and they brought you in, and you can't even save that video. What else are you missing? It kind of just made me feel like, okay, we only know three or four things, and they're real sloppy. Like you also were talking about a knife, and I got to go look, but people are, screwdriver on the roof. And then someone said, I have the document, and I'm going to look at it tonight. Someone said they left that evidence of the screwdriver being on the roof out of the charging document. That's one of the few pieces of physical evidence they have. That also just seems incompetent to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of like, is this going to go to trial or what?
I
You know
don't
what I
know.
mean? All they have is so called DNA on a towel and a gun, and a screwdriver. That's the physical evidence that they're using to file these charges. And supposedly they left the screwdriver off of the charging document. So I got to look and see if that's true or not.
Yeah.
If
Well,
it
did you?
is true, again, it just kind of makes me be like who wrote this up? Like
Yeah.
what how could that be? I mean,
Yeah.
like can you add the screwdriver back in later? I guess maybe you can introduce it, but they have, I don't know what the rules are to introduce that again. Or is the screwdriver just a rumor? I don't know.
At this point, who knows? But did you see?
It's kind of important though, because the whole thing hinges on that they had the gun in two pieces, one half in the backpack and the other half in his pant leg.
Yeah. Well, did you see? Did you listen to Steve Bannon this morning with Julie Kelly?
I was listening on and off. I don't remember what they talking about, the pipe bomber.
Yeah, and she was talking about how the judge in the pipe bomber case is also the one that went after the J6ers and the Proud Boys. So that the
Yes.
prosecutor
Yeah.
and the judge and the prosecutor and the judge are pretty buddy buddy. But when you think about it, a lot of times the attorneys on both sides of the aisles, the prosecutors and defense, generally speaking, know the judges pretty well. So I don't know, but she sounded an alarm on that. That would probably there's something about that may get swept under the rug too. So we'll see.
I just think that Steve Bannon's right about the fact that if these these conservative law firms are telling any experienced prosecutors or lawyers who would be willing to work for the Trump DOJ that you will never work again. And I believe that's happening. And that not only that, we will prosecute you, we will take your law license, et cetera. And they can point to the examples
Mm-hmm.
of where they've actually done it. Nobody wants to go work for the FBI or DOJ under Trump. And so they're just, we're all demanding that they do all these things where they should double and triple. And what's happened is lots of people have left or been fired and they have no one to replace them. And you got to wonder how much of Dan and Cash are just getting played because they literally could work 24 hours a day with no sleep and never even get to halfway through the pile of the stuff that they're supposed to be doing. And then they're just like putting out fires, it seems like when Trump shoots out something about J6 or whatever, all of a sudden Cash is like, everyone, drop what you're doing. We got to deliver something on J6 pronto. Or, you know what I mean? It just
Mm-hmm.
seems super like haphazard and they look exhausted. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, like Christopher Wray didn't give a shit. And he
Yeah.
looked cool as a cucumber with perfect hair and just answered like his vague answer for everything. Like, I don't recall this. I don't recall that or whatever, you know. And then when Cash came in, he was like fighting for his ground. And, you know, he knew a little bit about a lot of stuff. Christopher Wray, I don't think even knew what was going on because he just let the deep state.
Mm-hmm.
So he just got to have the private jet and all that. But yeah, it's another like line of attack is that everyone and their brother is trying to get rid of Cash Patel. Meanwhile, in England, they're freaking out about Cash Patel because he's he knows that Russiagate originated in England. So there's that. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I really just like the thing I never thought about is that the um the bar and like these professional organizations and big law firms, which Trump tried to haul in and discipline, because he knows he can't hire anyone because of them. And if you can't lobby in Washington D.C., then I mean you might as well not be a lawyer because that's basically all lawyers do is work for hedge funds and lobby. It seems like
Yeah.
so. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, Light Switch. Trump is winning, but everybody's making you feel like a loser. I mean, my mother's totally checked out. Almost everyone I know is totally checked out. Everyone I talk to is totally checked out. If you mention Trump, they're kind of like, well, I don't know. You know, everyone has a complaint. I mean, the honeymoon's over. I don't know what else to say. And we gotta like pull everyone out of these doldrums. Look at all the
Yeah.
stuff that's happening. What Trump needs to do is I think General Flynn was talking about this. He needs to do like I almost say have somebody else do it, not Trump. But and someone who's like super calming, just sit down and be like, look, have like an Oval Office thing and say, this is what's happening and just connect the dots, you know, in the way like I attempt to. I don't know if I do it right, but I try to be like, oh, well, the real reason this thing's happening with Venezuela is it's tied over here, and this is tied to that, and that's tied to that. And the reason it was important to go down and do this Africa thing real fast is we need the minerals, you know, like explain the whole thing. People aren't stupid, they're just misled by liars and influencers, you know. People if I feel like if somebody laid it all out in a concise way without like sidetracking and talking about their ballroom and all this
Oh
nonsense that makes people
gosh.
really angry and flip the TV off and throw it out the window. If they would just stay on track and say something
Right.
very matter of factly what's actually going on, I think most people would actually be happy.
Yeah, but I think that's what JD Vance was doing for a while is, he was trying to set things straight on some things, but yeah, I still think there's a lot going on that we don't see because of the narrative that's going on. Well, it's so much. There's just so much of it's a distraction that you know I wish. I mean, yeah, I wish things would move a lot quicker. I think I mentioned last week. I am beyond arrest. I want to actually see convictions. And that's the other thing. You got all these judges that, I mean, with all this other going on, how many did people realize how many immigration judges that President Trump has replaced? Now, if for the good or bad, I don't know, but he's replaced over 100 immigration judges. How many people realize that?
Like none. I mean, right? It's like we need to get there's just somebody somewhere in the GOP instead of like I get frustrated because everyone wants to make money. Okay, fine. That's sort of our Achilles heel. Because people on the left, like, I hate to say it, they want to grift and steal money, but they don't get in politics to start like a crypto exchange or something like that. You know what I mean? They're down for the cause. And really on the Republican side, like, is anyone actually down for the cause actually? I mean, Rumble is. Rumble created a platform for free speech and they're sticking with it. So that's an example of where they are proper, but like can we not get somebody with big money instead of dump like inauguration balls or whatever? Could you just take the money and go in like states, rural states, and start buying up UHS channels and radio stations and like put
Yeah,
positive messaging out there that people don't hear otherwise because they're just not computer people. And there are so many people, like even my age, that aren't retired yet, that are like high school friends or whatever. And I can only call them on the phone. They are not on the computer at all. They're not on social media. None of that. And it's even kids. Like my son's not on any of that crap. I mean, the only thing he knows about is what I tell him about and whatever comes up on the Yahoo News page when he logs into his browser, which mine doesn't do that. I don't even get that.
yeah.
But um,
Well, like,
it's like
um,
can we do some comms? Like can someone buy
yeah.
like a newspaper somewhere? Kinda, maybe the LA Times is gonna get better.
Yeah, a newspaper that's not owned by George Soros or whoever else has bought those
Right, that's what I
newspapers.
mean. Can some conservative investor like can we like educate people here? I mean, they put a lot of weight on us anons. I've also noticed where are the anons? A lot of them have disappeared. Like where are they? They're supposed to be memeing and fighting all day long. I mean, I know social media algorithms hides people from you and then suddenly they reappear and you're like, "Where were you?"
Yeah, I've
But
had that
like I
happen.
feel like there's only 10 of us in my feed that are just fighting for like this country, and everyone else is moaning and crying.
Yeah. Well, I know my daughter does. My daughter doesn't pay attention to a lot of the news but she talks to other people. That's the thing. And I can only tell her so much. And but yeah, she she gets her information from other people. Um, but if I hear what you say, yeah, I get so tired of all the negative. It's like I've said before, and I'll probably repeat it more than once on my Facebook, I'll get this, there'll be the same headline from, Fox News or ABC News, and there'll be the same headline from like five different states, and they'll be back to back headlines. ICE just pepper sprayed a civilian woman, and it's like, at least when I go to the some of the comments, some of them will say, "Tell the whole story. Don't tell." I fixed your headline. At least there are people fighting back there on some of them, but then you still have the same people that you see over and over again pushing the, oh, uh, Trump's a dictator, Trump's a fascist. Oh, Melania is an immigrant. She's illegal. She should be sending back. Barron's should be sending back. It's like, oh my gosh, give it a rest. I pushed back on someone earlier today saying, tell the real story. See, what was it? Oh, because did you hear this? The national, let's see, the national parks now are going to make it free for like, and have the flags flown on Flag Day, which happens to be Trump Day and Trump's birthday. So what did they focus on? It's Trump's birthday, and they're getting rid of the flags for Juneteenth. And it's like, really? It's President Trump's birthday happens to fall on Flag Day. So why wouldn't the parks fly their flag on Flag Day and offer um free to not tuition, admission? And no, but what they're doing is, well, it's Trump's birthday, so they're like, oh, he's got an ego. I mean, it's like, give me a break. It's just nothing he does is
Right. I
right.
heard something about the parks, like that there's going to be a lot of things with the 250th year and the holidays and all that. Yeah, I did hear that, but I didn't hear it about his birthday or whatever. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Now we have this thing with the EU finding Elon Musk with that backdoor, which apparently Obama, when he went over to England, that's what he said. You can shut down free speech in America by doing this EU shutdown, which will ruin social media, who will have to abide because they're used in the EU. And so um something's gonna happen there. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Ron DeSantis has internet like Bill of Rights. So there's a whole thing going on with the internet right now and freedom of speech, which is really important. But I mean, the libel laws, again, I'm a freedom of speech thing. I want everyone to have freedom of speech, but the media is a different story. And at some point, people who are quote unquote paid influencers need to be identified, you know? I mean, yeah, it is the terms of service actually on a lot of if you're paid for messaging, you have to put paid message or paid whatever. But nobody does. And, sometimes I think maybe it was actually better when we only had three or four lying TV channels on your antenna TV than 100,000 losers who are like fat seniors, but their picture is like a hot chick in a bikini and they're getting paid to lie all day long about Trump or whatever.
Right.
Like from India.
Well, now
It's just like at some point it's like almost worse.
Well, now it's all AI. Even some of the I see some of these posts, and it's all AI generated stories, and it's I'm like, this didn't happen, everybody. It's a story, because it's all, I mean, it's all formula. The story is the same basic outline. They just changed the names to protect the guilty. So.
Right. All AI should be labeled. And don't tell me you can't make it where uh if you crop something, that AI tag, you can crop the AI tag off the edge of the paper, which is what people do now. That's bull crap. They can make it where no matter what you generate, if it's AI, like an AI watermark or something, goes across the screen through the entire thing so that nobody can even clip it. There's just, we need to have rules of the road. It's just getting a little too disorienting. And I think that's another reason why so many people have checked out. Like they're just so overwhelmed with fake garbage that you get frustrated after a while and you're like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Well, no, I just, I don't want to, I don't even, I tell myself I'm going to take a day or two off where I'm not on social media at all just because it's also frustrating and I end up getting sucked right back in. So,
Yeah, I just like, I mean, there's just some things that I just feel like I have to fight on, and then other things I'm like not even gonna like. I'm just gonna let it slide by because me even entertaining this is just amplifying it. That's sort of my life. Fight or pass by. And then I always forward other stuff like Indiana, you have to call your senator. I always tag those and promote those and push them out all over the place. So, it's I guess very Tea Party of me. And people don't know, man. I People thank me. Like I'm like, how many times do I have to see this Indiana thing? But then I'll put it out there and then someone will thank me and be like, I'm from Indiana. I didn't even know. So it's totally worth it
yeah.
to do it.
Well, there's I mean, I saw something. They're predicting that there is a possibility that California may end up with a um, Republican governor. That's what there's a there
Yeah,
is a
the front
possibility.
leader right now up in the top. So they have the jungle primary, and right now I think both of the top two are Republicans. And one of them's that Hilton guy from
Mm-hmm.
Fox News with the British accent, the bald guy.
Mm.
I can't
Not
think of, is it
Steve Hilton.
Steve Hilton, maybe? Steve
I think that's the
Hilton?
only Hilton I can remember that was
Yeah.
running last time.
Yeah, I think that's it. Steve Hilton.
And
Who's
there's
just he's a seems like a reasonable guy. I see the Spencer Pratt guy. It's got a future. I see him ranting and raving. He's like another guy who's actually doing facts, like doing FOIA requests and interviewing people and having facts about the Palisade fire instead of just dooming or raging or whatever. And so I appreciate that. So there's like little heroes popping up in
yeah,
California. It's just a matter of time. I mean, even Illinois, it's so bad there now that you just hope that at some point they hit rock bottom.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean, there's so many taxes now, it's insane. And
yeah.
they're not even getting the no tax on tips in that. They're going to tax them anyway in the Illinois portion of their
Oh
taxes.
gosh.
I mean, it's just like, it's so bad there. At some point, heroes have to rise. And there are great people in Illinois. And like I said, there's great think tanks and activist groups there that I worked with, one of them being Charlie Kirk, that are great out of Illinois, like Heartland Institute and that. They're great. And, you know, at some point, it just has to float to the top of the cesspool. And Chicago is the greatest, to me, the greatest city ever. And at some point, the evilness has to be removed from there.
Yeah. No. Well, and I know that there's a California assemblyman, and I can't remember, but it's a mega talking point. I think it has to do with voter ID. I think he's trying to push 1 day voting and voter ID. It's either that or something else. I can't remember exactly. Because Because I mean, now I
It's
got
like I think it's a petition and there's really no like way forward with the petition
yeah,
exactly, but on the other hand, there's some way of maneuvering it into a ballot initiative, I believe.
yeah. Well, I've got only got
But
20.
there's like
I only got
so
20.
they got their thing where they're going to redistrict California. A bunch of lawsuits dropped, and it's unclear to me if any of the lawsuits are going to hold up because they all have to do with the fact that magical ballots showed up voting yes on that. Is it
Prop 50.
Proposition
Yeah.
90 or 60 or whatever it
No,
was to redistrict California.
Prop 50.
Right. And so we know that the courts don't do magical ballots, so I don't know if any of those lawsuits are going to work. But I think the DOJ sued, the California GOP sued, and the I think maybe the national GOP sued. So there are lawsuits he's got to go through. So we'll see how that goes. It's possible that it could be stopped. I don't know. But Virginia, if Virginia gets it, we're just basically screwed. That's why Indiana is so important. And I think Florida is going to go back for a second map and turn Florida basically entirely red. They can pull 5 more. Texas map just won at the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And what people,
Texas could have squeezed out a little more. I think there's one in Missouri that can be squeezed out. Utah is they squeezed out one. The courts squashed it, and they're appealing. So hopefully that one will work out. Um, they're gonna just keep trying. We have to. We just have to get them. We have
yeah.
to have them. There's really because of this Candace Owens garbage and just the way history works and everything else, and the fact that these low propensity young voters that we have to have Turning Point USA to turn out. You can't just spin up an organization like that. Do you know how many people turning millions? Do you know how many people a new startup has on their mailing list? 0.
Mm.
That's why I keep saying that the problem with the GOP is all these guys with mailing lists. By that, I mean email addresses and social media and phones. All the people with these lists charge you like millions of dollars to just access the list. And that's why local GOPs can't do any diddly squat. And we're walking around, like lost sheep. Is because it would cost millions of dollars to buy the data even just for your precinct, it would be thousands of dollars, as much as I can tell, as far as I can see. But there are people who have that data, and that's these little khaki pants wearing, oh, I got my little furry vest on over my golf shirt. Let's go to the big golf outing. It's $500 a plate golf outing. And they, hem and haw, oh, I can do a mailing, I can sell ads and do a mailing and this and that, and all the money gets sucked into these a-holes instead of everyone putting everything in a big database and letting the grassroots and these groups who are actually willing to work access that data for an affordable fee or no fee at all. That's where we lose. That's why we lose. Everybody knows it. Charlie talked about it a million times. And that's why you can't let these organizations who've invested millions of dollars into collecting names, email addresses, and phone numbers, cell phone numbers, you cannot let them fail. People invested millions of dollars. It's not just like a joke like, oh, I don't like Andrew Colvett. Let's tank TPUSA and make a new one. That's not how it works. That's the problem.
Well, that's
It's a
like
big problem.
that's another reason why it's important for the TPUSA college campuses. You know, they've had a couple of campuses. The colleges kind of shut down TP Turning Point. They didn't want them, and they had to fight back to get a
Right. And every one of those chapters collects names of voters, registers voters, And then when you need to get the youth to turn out in states, you have all these people willing to knock on doors, plus you have data for people who have showed up at events or requested information, like went on the website and requested information and so on and so forth. You have these millions and millions of names. And you can send out text messages. You can put it in your database for people to call and make phone calls. I mean, this data is, I can't explain to you how much the whole world is run off buying and selling this data. It's all about the data. And Charlie knows that. I mean, he was talking about that. And, he was all about efficiency. He was talking about like Doge, how Doge uses next level like databases like Palantir to audit everything in your company, improve workflow, improve your communications and everything you're doing. And the bigger you get, the more you want stuff like that. And this is another thing. They're like, oh, we have to fire everyone because Charlie didn't get Doge. Like, how do you know he didn't get Doge? How do you know they didn't use an AI to go rolling through all their expenses and stuff and find efficiencies? How do you know that they didn't do that? Like, it's just, again, everything. I'm going to stop. Everything is making me nuts. We don't know any of this stuff. Hopefully, this live stream they do, which is another thing. She keeps saying that the feds killed Charlie. That's her other thing. There is no federal case. It's a state of Utah. If you want to say the feds killed him, then why don't you say the Utah feds, right? First of all. Second of all, she keeps saying oh, now I lost my train of thought. Um,
Well, it's like bring the receipts. Stop talking. Show me the money. Show
oh,
it.
right, right. So she says that she was invited to a debate. She was not invited to a debate. I happen to have the Turning Point Charlie Kirk radio show working, which typically I do at least for like 45 minutes before I grab lunch. And I heard him say that they're going to do a live stream and they're going to address all the questions that have been put out there about Charlie's friends and people who work here, and that they're going to do a live stream and go through like this list. Basically, they never said anything about a debate, and that if Candace would like to join them for the live stream, she is welcome. They didn't say they wanted to debate with her. I'm assuming they would mic her up and they would all be sitting at a table and they would go through all these issues and discuss it. But it was never a debate. I mean, he never said the word debate. And he did say, come here and join me. So that's a whole nother level of my hair falling out, me like laying down and feeling like crying. I'm so frustrated by just the lies. So it's just so crazy. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the way I am, but if I was married to someone that like tried to gaslight me 24/7 by changing words like that, because I'm sort of autistic and take things very literally, I would be in a mental institute within a year. Because I'd be like, that's not what you said the first time. I'd say that to every word if I was like married to a gaslighter and like fight it to the death because I'm very literal about things sometimes. So it's just, I don't know, man. I just, I never thought, I'm going to be retiring here within the next decade and stuff. I never thought I'd be having to deal with saving the country from like idiocracy or emotional insanity. I just don't understand it.
Yep, I hear you there. That's the reason why try to tell people just try to take the emotions out of it as best as you can, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to wear on your emotions, and if you have to take a break, take a break. Get yourself if you have to oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Rebalance. Get a different perspective. Do it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's for your sanity. It's not going to do anybody any good. And if you're just totally out of your mind because everything is so just doggone frustrating, it's like got to stop and smell the roses every once in a while.
Well, I just hope whatever it is, like everyone of that ilk. I just wonder if this is like because I'm told I don't have Netflix, but I've been told by like normies watch these weird shows where like is it like true crime, I guess is a genre that Netflix's biggest shows are like true crime shows and they like do like old court cases and stuff. Uh so I mean I like those kind of shows. I just don't watch TV anymore and I don't have Netflix. But you got to wonder if a lot of this like stuff with Mangione and um this Charlie Kirk stuff and that there's just a lot of people out there that this is sort of their I don't want to say entertainment meaning they're heartless, but it's some kind of entertainment of some sort. And this is the process they believe that everything should go through. This like weird feeling around stuff, but that's just kind of not how it works. I mean, when we used to have a court system, you pretty much knew how it worked, but we really don't have a court system anymore. We have kind of a plea bargain, corrupt judge system. It's who you know, pretty much, is how it works now. So maybe that's why, because people just understand there won't be any justice generally these days, unfortunately. I don't know. It's weird, but it is what it is, I guess.
Well, it's almost like they're trying to drive it to the military. I don't know. The military have to
Well, I
step
don't,
in
I
or
mean,
something.
unless any of this Egyptian plane, I mean, the other thing I could say about it is weird that these military things are happening, but like people who live in the West, I mean, even here in Oklahoma, every time I turn around, there's a fighter jet flying over my house, rattling the windows. I mean that quite literally, like two or three times a week. So generally, there's always weird military stuff going on, at least around here, and I'm sure other people in Western states. I remember Roxy talking about it, even in Arizona. So it's kind of a thing, but if there is anything to it, um, assuming that the uh what's his name Roth the shootings the Crooks and Roth incident, assuming those are tied to Ukraine or some sort of foreign influence, which kind of it seems like both of them are. It seems like Trump just doesn't want international incidents, at least not right now, while he's trying to do a lot of international stuff. Because just like supposedly he called Candace and told her to stop talking about the Bridget Macron controversy during basically we're seeing now taking down France by taking their mines away from them and their foreign African colonies, which just happened this week. It kind of makes you understand why Trump doesn't want to talk about things tied to Ukraine or African colonies or anything right now or France while he's in the heat of doing stuff to take down the international deep state. I kind of get it. Like he's not going to talk bad about Putin right now, or really kind of Zelensky or China, because right now he's trying to work out deals and get America in a better situation. So I kind of get that too. So, I don't even rule out that the French are involved or anything. I don't really see the evidence, but it wouldn't surprise me either. So, but I don't think anyone's going to talk about it when Trump was in the middle of stealing France's assets from him in Africa. And then you see the Russians out openly mocking France for the ones that Russia took in Africa, openly mocking them. I just showed that the former president of Russia openly mocking France. So I can see why Trump's not going to be like, let's investigate those French soldiers that shot Charlie. Even I don't say that I think that's true, but even if it was, we'll find out about that later after we're done with this France thing, is my point.
Timing is everything.
Exactly. Well, I better get going here. I could yammer yammer all day long, which I
Okay.
have.
Okay. Well,
Y'all have a good evening.
and, everybody, you'll see Erin tomorrow morning. So,
That's right, 9 a.m.
all right.
Bye.
Bye. That was Erin, 80s Erin, everybody. This is On a Wing of Prayer. This is Deb 65. I am going to put my links out. Let me do that real quick before I do my show opener. If you want to follow me on Rumble or D Live, or not D Live, I have a D Live, but I don't do I don't broadcast on D Live. Maybe if I can ever figure out OBS, I'll do it. But let me get out my links to whatchamacallit, YouTube and everything. By the way, everybody, 26 more days and I will be leaving California. So let me grab these links real quick and then I will put on my show opener. I hope y'all are going to stick around and because I do have a few things that I would like to. Oh dear, what did I do? I do have a few things that I would like to go over. I Oh, by the way, Anne, I mentioned this to Shoko and I mentioned this Thursday morning. Once I get back into the once I get back to the central time zone, I am not going to be able to do. I've thought about this, and it was a real hard decision, but I just can't do 1 to 4 central time Thursday morning, especially if I'm going to have to work. And so, if there is a show opener or show host or anybody who is interested in being a show host, I mean, Thursday mornings are for the most part pretty easy. Uh, you could just put on a video, you can do a lot of things. The reason why I don't do the videos and the movies and stuff is because my computer's in my bedroom. I can't just go lay down, go to sleep. And to be honest with you, even if my computer wasn't in the bedroom and it was somewhere else, I'd probably be up. I'd still probably be up just because I'd be too afraid that something would go wrong with it. So if anybody can, you know, step in after the first, that'd be greatly, to help PSB, that would be great. Anyway, so if you're new and you're looking for a time slot, it's not, you don't have very many chatters or, I don't know, listeners. At least I can never tell if they're listening or not. But you, it's a nice relaxed atmosphere. If you're like me and because I get a little bit, uh, uh, I get sometimes, I don't know if you want to call it high strung or whatever. I get way I get. I am who I am. So anyway, while I am doing that, I am going to put on my show opener and I will be right back.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that
Hello.
stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all of the fiery darts of the wicked one. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all the perseverance and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, and willfully so, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. Amen.
Father God, I ask now for an impartation of your Holy Spirit. May the fullness of the Spirit of Jesus rest upon President Trump, that he be anointed with wisdom and understanding, with your counsel and might, with knowledge and fear of the Lord. And accordingly, may President Trump not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decide by what he hears with his ears, or lean on his own understanding, but may he recognize your prompting and move according to your guidance. I ask that you give the President supernatural discernment to know who is trustworthy and who is not. Bring into the light all deception and intrigue. Expose and reverse the plans of those who would harm President Trump and this nation. In the name of Jesus, I break off all voices and influence that do not come from you, Father God. May your truth and peace surround and reign in the White House. God, you have raised up President Trump to govern at a time when there is a resurgence of oppression. Only you, Lord Jesus Christ, can anoint him to have victories over strongholds and to establish justice for the needy. Give him strength and courage to persevere in the constant battle that surrounds him and refresh him. Father God, I see that you have such a tender heart for President Trump. Draw him close to you. I ask now for an impartation of hunger for you, so that he may love you with all his heart, soul, mind, and strength, and delight in knowing you. And if he came and whisper your name, may he go forward shouting your name. In Jesus' name, in the name of my King, I bless you.
Okay. Well, that was just totally weird. I mean, all of a sudden, I had to step away for a few minutes, and I come back, and as I come back, all of a sudden, my mic went down. I think they must have heard me thinking about. They must have read my mind because I thought, well, maybe I'm gonna go ahead and open up my Rumble channel and go live on Rumble. And then I'm like, oh no, I was afraid I got kicked out of Zoom for whatever reason. So, hey, that is crazy. That is crazy. And so let's see. I want to see if everything is looking okay on my task manager. It looks like it's okay. So I don't know what happened there. But I am, I don't know. Should I chance it? Should I not chance it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I better not chance it. But I do have to. So thank y'all for sticking around. So as I was saying earlier too, I'm gonna put out my whatchamacallits, my links, and I tell you what, this move, I don't know what it is about this move, but I've been counting down for since last weekend, the days, and I was so anxious on Monday that I get up when the sun gets up, so I get up about around between 6 and 6:30 anyway. But when I got up, the I went out and did the gutters. I cleaned out the gutters 6 o'clock in the morning, or 6:30 in the morning. I went out. And I was so anxious about the move, and part of it is because I have no idea when they're going to come and get the furniture. I have no idea when they're going to do anything. So I'm like, I don't even know where we're going to. I mean, I know where we're moving. Uh, I know where we are. I know what state we're moving to. I just don't know if we have a residence yet, an address yet. So I'm leaving that up to my daughter. Um, but let me. I'm just too stubborn enough to try it. So I'm going to go ahead and try it. See what we can do. Um, last Thursday morning, I was so scatterbrained that I was putting jeez, I had my Rumble studio set up, and would you know it, I forgot to go live. So I'm talking for about 30 minutes, and here I am forgetting to go live, and it was just crazy. So let me get my Rumble going. And we'll go ahead, and I want to go through some stuff. Yeah, yeah, packing, organizing, all that. Okay. Okay, let me not even skippity doo dah. So I am going to go in. So anyway, so, and we're not even going to be able to decorate for my grandson, and our Christmas is not going to be like it usually is this year. We're trying to get, in some ways we're trying to get as much we're trying to get as much memory stuff done as much as we can. Because one of the things I would like to go through is, so we're going to try to go back to the Reagan Library again. I've been there twice already, and it's just, I think it's such a neat place to go. So, and let me grab this. Oh, what did I do that for? Okay. So I hope you guys. Yeah. My daughter gave up their guinea pig, so it was kind of interesting, and it's like, oh, I already missed the little rodents already. So. All right, let me. All right. So how is everybody out in chat? Give me a one if you're gonna stick around for a while. So let's see. I'm gonna see. All right. Okay. I'm gonna do that and that. And okay, and I want to thank. Okay, so we're gonna go live on Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. So if anybody wants to try. Hey, Rose's Starbright, and who else is out there? And I am now live on Rumble. Hello, everybody on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. This is Deb65. This is On a Wing and a Prayer Scene on Patriots Soapbox Thursday mornings, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern. Probably not for much longer, because once I move and go to the Central Time Zone, I just don't see how I'm going to be able to continue doing that. So I want to start with, let me see, and then I on Saturday evening, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. And let me see, there's something I want to start with. I gotta find it first. Pretty sure, here it is. And so let me go Rumble and share screen there. And then, so we have a unaccompanied soldier, unaccompanied veteran burial. See that yet? One Richard Joe Banks, United States Marine Corps, Friday, December 12th, 2025, 9 a.m. Eastern. 9 a.m. Central. That it will be held at the Coastal Bend State Veterans Cemetery, 9974 IH 37 Access Road, Corpus Christi, Texas 78410. Again, that is an unaccompanied veteran burial, Richard Joe Banks, United States Marine Corps, Friday, December 12th, 2025, 9 a.m. at the Coastal Bend State Cemetery, 9974 IH Interstate Highway or IH 37 Access Road, Corpus Christi, Texas 78410. So if you can be there, if you are in the area, or if you know somebody living in the area, I know Picasiak, he sometimes joins chat, and if he can make it or knows somebody in that area, he can make it. That'd be great. We don't leave a veteran, or we don't leave a man behind. No military personnel. Well, nobody should have to uh, be, but um, let's see. Let me see that. Let's see, is this it? Nobody should, you know, lose out on being. And let me see, why is that not? Uh-oh. Oh, that's YouTube. Why is that YouTube? Hold on. Oh, this is weird. Okay, I don't know. All right, now then, I need to. Please tell me I did not unaccompanied burial. Okay. Let me see. That is. So this. I wanted to show you guys this. I hope I have it. No, that's US. No, this is the wrong thing. That's YouTube. Hold on. Where did it go? Oh, don't tell me I didn't do that. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, no. What happened to that? Hey, Dynamax. Oh, did I? Let's see. I need to go put it in. I gotta go find something else. Let's see. No. Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. No. Hold on. Give me a moment. I gotta go get a link real quick. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Oh no. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Let me see. So we had an unburied oh. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Oh, bummer. I wanted to show. I'll probably find it after tonight, but they had the let me see, what is it? Texas. Where did it go? Where'd it go? I know. National Guard. No. Texas. Oh, here we go. Let me see. All right, so this, okay. I'm glad they're putting this out too. It's really, really touching. But I wanted to show this. We probably won't play the whole thing because I don't, let me see how. They just have pictures. They don't have the video. Oh, pooey. Uh, minute. Hold on a moment. That's the city of Cologne. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. Oh, let's see. Government organization. What is? Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. I think. No, that was the wreath. Well, that is just. That's frustrating. Because I had it. I thought I had it. And now I don't have it. Oh, this is crazy. Um, let's see. Maybe this is it? No. That's a YouTube thing. No, that's not what I wanted. What is? Well, that's not what I wanted because I wanted to show the. Um, they had a segment. What they were there's a news clip of one of the unaccompanied soldiers, and I wanted to show that. Brother, oh bother. Um, that's really weird that that didn't. But I know if anybody sees or hears from Sunny, if Sunny's out in the chat, Sunny asked Sunny asked about the honor guard, and I just wanted to show her the honor guard. I know from with my brother-in-law, it is each branch has their own honor guard, and when they have their own honor guard, they to do the veterans. Now, just by my personal experience, like my brother-in-law had honors, military honors last year, and so I thought I'd let you know this is how they. So the military has an honors program. So what is the military funeral honors program? Let's see if I can I don't think I'm going to be able to. Oh, I can. So if you can see that. So what is the Military Funeral Honors Program? The Military Funeral Honors Program establishes procedures for requesting and rendering military funeral honors. By law, an honor guard detail for the burial of an eligible veteran can or shall consist of at least 2 members of the armed forces. 1 member of the detail shall be a representative of the veteran service branch. So if you're a Marine, you're going to have a Marine honor guard. If you're Army, if you're Space Force, you'll have. Of course, the Space Force doesn't have veteran, but my brother-in-law, I think his was he had just started working for Space Force like 6 months prior to his passing, and I it was either Army or Space Force. I know he and my sister actually knew one of the first recruits to one of the first cadets to graduate Space Force when Space Force started back in 2017. But the honored detail will, at a minimum, perform a ceremony that includes the playing of taps and the folding and presentation of the American flag to the next of kin. Taps will be played by a bugler if available or by a ceremonial bugle. The Veteran Service Organization may augment the Defense Department's funeral honors detail by providing additional elements such as a rifle detail or bearers. So, how does the family request military funeral honors? Families of the eligible veterans may request military funeral honors through their funeral director. The funeral director will contact the appropriate military service to arrange for the funeral honors detail. Families who are in possession of their veteran loved ones' cremated remains and desire to have a burial ceremony may contact the service casualty office of the veteran. Those contacts are listed on the military funeral honors directory. The service will request that the family provide a copy of the service member's DD for Form 214, certificate of release or discharge from active duty, or other supporting discharge information in order to verify eligibility. So imagine when you have an unaccompanied, because like the state of Texas has the Texas Commission, Veterans Commission, and which the cemetery, and that's probably what they do. They get it from the service if they cannot find, um, family members. And they had so anyway, how can the family obtain a copy? We're not going to go over that, but is there a cost for military funeral honor? So the DoD, or now it would be DOW, provides military funeral honors for free to the family. How many funeral honor ceremonies can a veteran receive? A veteran is entitled to one funeral honor ceremony to be provided at the time of the funeral. I know when we were going to the cemetery, my sister was so surprised at the number of people that turned out. She actually thought that and they do start at sharp on the time, but they were waiting for us. She thought that was somebody else's funeral. She was kind of upset. Let's see. May a family request a military funeral honors detail that has representation for both the DoD and the local VSO. So I imagine that's the veterans. So yes, the DoD recognizes the valuable role that members of the VSOs play in honor of our veterans. So who is eligible for burial flag? The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs verifies eligibility for veterans in accordance with Section in case of in-service deaths or active duty, which would be the DOW now, provides a U.S. flag to drape the casket or to be presented at a funeral service. After the service, the flag is given to the eligible recipient. So, hope that if Sunny is out there, I hope that answers some of your questions about who does the military honors. And But anyway, because I know she was asking if somebody replaces the veterans, and I'm sure that like in Texas, I'm sure I'm sure that the cemetery, they have a volunteer names, and once they contact people, they just contact the people for the and let them know when it's going to be. So let's see if I can, if I didn't throw it away a few weeks ago. I wanted to, I probably did, or maybe not. Let's see. Here we go. All right. I showed this a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't get a chance to show it on a Saturday. And I just thought this was such a cute little thing to show. I'd like to do it again. All right. Let's see. Hold on. So I hope y'all like this. This is not very long, but it's hopefully it'll show it. Okay, don't take so long. Come on. Okay, stop the share real quick. Okay, let me stop the share. See if I can get it. Shrimp and yep, grilled baby drill. Let me see if I can get this up again. Probably should have gone ahead and put it on my computer. Oh, good. It is coming up. Okay, so let me try this again.
Oh, I miss you. I miss you so much.
Yeah, I know. I muted myself because I muted the because the music and I muted the video. But what y'all think of the little video with the doggies walking them their master's home? And I think my one of my, I mean I love the huskies, but I think one of my favorite ones is the little poodle. You know, there's I don't I'm a girl, so I think there's something special about the big strong man. You know, just that a big strong man turning, carrying a baby or there's just something there's just something about that. Uh, the big strong man with the baby and or a little bitty poodle like that. He just it's so cute. I just thought they were cute, and I thought I liked the Doberman. I mean, with the little paw, and he the Doberman with his oh looks like his paw was in a cast. I just like this. I just saw that and I thought that was just the neatest thing. So anyhow. So we got one more hour to go. So let's see, where can I go to next? I do want to. We talked about the the man who did he filed a court order. So this woman and this her daughter had been going to a church, a Calvary Chapel Church. I don't know. I don't remember in Maine, I think. And so they're not married, and from what I could tell, they were never married. But so the daughter decided she wanted to be baptized. Well, he uh, he couldn't. The man decided because his daughter was in an occult, he did not want her going to church anymore, and the fact the mother could not was not allowed to go to church anymore. She couldn't read the Bible to her daughter. She couldn't do anything with had anything to do with church anymore. And so the Maine Supreme Court sided with the father. I know, right? Rosa's bright. Rosa Star Bright, the tiny poodle jumped up. Yeah. Okay. I don't have. Oh, wait a minute. I do have it. Okay. So, since we are in the Christmas season, and we talk about kids, and I'm gonna go to kids and everything. Um, so share there and share there. And just to kind of talk about what Erin and I were talking about, Candace Owens and and Candace Owens having a dream. When when Erin was talking about her dream, it wasn't so much. I mean, the thing is she didn't actually dream of Charlie Kirk. Now, for those of you who are people of faith, like some of us are, you know, the thing is, if Candace Owens, why is Candace Owens dreaming of another man? She's married. Charlie Kirk is married. I would think that if Charlie Kirk was going to dream of, or me, or if Charlie Kirk was going to quote unquote visit someone in a dream, it would be his own wife. Okay, whether or not whatever y'all want to believe about Erica, he would be going to her. The other thing is, the Bible makes it clear we are not supposed to be communing with the dead. God is not the God of the dead, He's the God of the living. So either Candace is being visited by something, and I'm going to say something other than Charlie Kirk, or she's just, you know, she's she's out there. With that being said, since it is Christmas, so I just want to redo this. This was a post that was shared. So no matter how many times I read this, I just cannot do it without getting chills all over me. I bet you didn't know the following about the manger that Jesus was laid in. Of course, mangers are animal feeding troughs, but in ancient Israel, they were made of stone, not what you would see in a modern day nativity scene. Not comfortable, but great for protection. That's why those who were experts in this matter, the priest, would put their newborn lambs in them for protection. But not just any lamb, the unblemished, perfect lambs that were used in the sacrifice for sins. And Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, was famous for their unblemished lambs used for the sacrifice. These lambs had to be perfect, so they would wrap them tightly in cloth and lie them in the manger to keep them safe. This is exactly why the only time mangers are mentioned in Jesus' birth story, it is being told to shepherds. In Luke 2, it says, "There will be a sign for you that you will find a baby wrapped in cloth and lying in a manger." The shepherds would have understood this powerful parable. They knew what the cloth and the manger meant. This baby would be the perfect Lamb of God, the Messiah who would sacrifice his life for the sins of the whole world. He wasn't just a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. He was God, perfect, sinless, and holy, humbling himself to become the perfect sacrifice to reconcile us back to himself. That, my friend, that perfect lamb is why we celebrate Christmas. Um, so there's the picture of what a manger would have looked like. And of course, there's but I think it's, you know, remember the Bible is so prophetic. You know, everything in the Bible you see, there's a lot of prophecy, there's a lot of, it's all connects. It's all connecting, and you just have to know how to connect everything. So you would, it's like I keep saying this thing about Zionism. Zion in the Bible is just another word for Jerusalem. And we are told in Psalm to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. So, but then again, these evil cabal people, they always like to try to hijack things, right? So here's something else that I think that people are they're people are, I wish I had a thing for this, but people are people are overlooking things. This is stuff that is getting overlooked because of the infighting, of the fighting over things. How many of y'all have heard about First Lady Melania welcomes progress in Russia Ukraine Children's Reunification Initiative? I'm wondering if this is one of the reasons why the so-called war is being. Hi, Founder Flies. How I think this is one of the reasons why the so-called war. I've often said that I don't think the war is way people think it is. It's a news media war more than anything. Of course, President Trump have to go because there's things happening. Anybody remember what when and during President Trump's first term and First Lady Melania got the Putin gave President Trump the soccer ball and President Trump gave it to Melania, and that's when the Lucky Chucky and Shifty and they all blew a gasket. Their heads just exploded because